Hello mateys, this is Discovery Scouts, the Pirates of the Caribbean film series here. Today is the first day of December as Thursday, December 1st, 2016. For one more month to 2017. So, to be continued to the commentary of Pirates of the Caribbean movie madness is Dead Man's Chest. So, to continue to Jack and Elizabeth reunites to last 3 years in 2006 from 2003. Sir Elizabeth Swan just followed Jack and the Gibbs, just welcomed them aboard to the crew of the Pearl thing, and she mentioned this so to find out what's gonna happen for Will from the last few hours. Then he was stayed behind by the Flying Dutchman around the seven seas, but he can't see it in the night in the seas, and when the Walker guy is James Norrington just to stir the disgrace, he literally just start puke under the water, and he was generally disgusting. He wouldn't find out the same answer about Jack. He will return them to the Port Royal as he notices about thing. And she says Elizabeth. He says Elizabeth, but Jack says he replied, hide the rum, to take up the ships in mutiny. And he was close enough. I had a message not. I have a helm and a dress and I cannot. And she knows him. Where is he? And he knows about the same behind. He unfortunately can talk about this later from Will Turner self. He was unfortunately it was capture and kidnapping and stay behind. As his poor Will, he has been unwelcome there as his new ship as captain of Davy Jones and his crew. Like the sea turtles, like the notorious pirate, and Davy Jones, she will apply and confused, and he pukes under the water just already there about 2 times to the each. He pleasing them. As he says, the captain of the Flying Dutchman, he says it's mean of him for Norrington. You don't blushing ocean, what are you doing here? You're hiring me. I call him standing the legs. You smell funny. And Jack tells by Elizabeth. Does she need find Will? And there's only most of the have long and longer most hard. As long as that story is a long time ago. But if she thinks of finding a way to battle his love by the Will, it's his pressing gains also been about all things together, and but he remembers that about about pets and the sea monsters, and are forbidden to buy the Davy Jones. Until we get his lifts up a weight, his hands looks like about heartbeat. That's my heart. That's my heart looks like about my beating. It looks the same thing about the citizen intentionally. It's as long as they can. But he knows about plays around about classicals, sarcastics, and just to be friendly, and most of them would be such as about very Leviathan and sea dragons. It doesn't matter to have a giant sperm whale or megalodon. They have about sea monsters, and they have much issues, very huge ones against them. And his buddy says, "Oh dear," he moaning for them, and but he will say that again. I didn't actually believe him, do you? When the James Norrington disgraces from the dirty stuff from a farm, he just literally just dirt on the all around the mess of his body and his face with his white hair. They're making himself a brown hair. They're making himself a brown hair. That looks black. That looks dark brown. He looks gonna like it about disgrace. But he says he had to make him broken. But once he has a compass, it's in a leaking once about the last 2 days. As one of about the 3 days only, and those that have it ready for the 90 about men, all above the 7 seas, most of the ocean ones, as again, for every days, every new, every resource, once and again, once and enough, once again, and those are my point is, and by the sheep proud of him, but he wants to confirm her. William finds the chest to Davy Jones, but he's not, it's not there. Jack will find the chest into the Davy Jones in his heart. He runs up for the ship. She looks at his compass, and it looking around for the north, side by side, to the south, east, west, and north. He looked up and said, "Mr. Gibbs, Captain, have our heading. Captain's eyes on all of our canvas, and welcome aboard, Miss One." And she returned to the Pearl. She's been from a curse for the last 3 years. Welcome to the cooling land for Commodore. And she taken up for the goat and the animals out of the ship. For this, it goes in the Tortuga for here. That's his name. And Color Beckett's office, and the old guy just drawing there for the world. The mightiest company, and most of them have very souls, as he knows about the guilty as Governor's One has a little bit headball on it. He has a chainsaw. Looks like about handcuff of him, like this, but handcuff him, and but he thought about Elizabeth Swan that fell behind. So now he seems, and Mercer was the Tortuga he led by the Jack Sparrow. He leaves for the 7 seas on an unnamed island. He was just as his daughter. But I know. He knows the weight about his soul's about already there. And it's been a classical fairy intentions, long intentions as long as his stories. But he can't be an attorney, a court of law, and the ITC soldiers and officers, and they haven't much issues in the finding new board, and do he much that they can of most of his daughter Elizabeth. But he wants in the confirmations, wants them to be free to go, and he takes the chainsaw off for his hands. He seems wanted to know about freeze, and some of them about last few days. Mr. Swan was under rest in about 6 days, but he do what he can. They got the dice game and the Dutchman's deck, and Clinical, and Macus just gathering for the setting on the Davy Jones, the Bootstrap, and Will knows most of the challenges on this game. The game of deceptions, by the telling he knows about the Will, but William wants him to the challenge for Captain Davy Jones. but he knows about the be crime, being dramatic, being recycled, being nomad ones, and they're coming down this way around the down there, and his footsteps are so loudly, and they're laughing. They're going to downstairs, but he was talking. He was upset. He means in part. When a lightning goes roar, and they're gonna ready to play a challenge for the dice game as the deceptions, as the souls, as knows about the confirmations, ready to challenge them to free for all for gamers, and Will and the Bootstrap and Davy just notices about he wants this, and it's part of it about the drawing key. But he said, does he know about the keys? He doesn't part of the game. Does he matters? And but he doesn't walk away. Or does he walk away? But he sits down slowly, and look who found the key. The mightiest from beer to transformated for tentacles like octopus. Like one of them has his keepers. He hoists them. He's in. He can wait for him. Will says no. But his father don't did this for him. He says Diane will cost, and it could be one of them from us failed. And forbidden, as he knows, and all the way to captains. He chuckles him with his covering the mouth. 4 force, and kind of like a surprise to seeing the most to have look same thing, and shake his under 3 dices covering under there, just as the name to say don't say it, and just as unknown, just unnamed, and Will has 4 5s, and Bootstrap says 3 2s. That's just taking the take turn on a time, and the last one is Davy Jones, but it's just playing the game. But he's playing a lot of games. Just the one that says 7 5s. For the round 2 is also about really easy. It's about playing those a lot of games on the ships and in deck. It's just very decided when see most of them have the anciently, silently, listening to the one about silently. The ones of them, all of this stuff again. All of the definitely wants to see what is it William says. So the first one it says 8 5s, and the second one is Davy Jones, and he could chuck him in and say 7 5s, and the last one is part of unusual. Is former is Bootstrap, but he says 12 5s, but he says 2 times. But he call him the liar. He got the pit. He sort of gets mad at him, but he call him the liar, the self and the trouble, but he quits the game. But he threats him. Bootstrap Bill, you a liar that seems an eternity to a ship. Master Tanner, you're free. You're for free as to the shores. Snores him. Next time, go in the back, make it poor. Ha 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 ha. His crew was walking away and quitting the game. Stunned a bit, but it says fool. His father was compliant to him. Is it compliance with him? Why did he do that? He can't be the win or lose, and his father just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not about the winning or losing, and the key he just wanted to make it was, and last in the last few minutes ago, he's sleeping out of the ship, he's sleeping out of the mutiny, and they're literally just sneaking. They're literally just two of them just sneaking around, and just one of the captain's orders, and Will goes inside to the captain's cabin just as open that door just as slowly, and he a little bit just tiny bit cracking, walking slowly, but he knew he was just sleeping. All of his tired, all in a lot. The good idea. Oh, and the tentacles was hiding there. He was covering with the keys, but he was. And Will looks in the key, and he brings in a draw. He buys in a draw key and keep him with his unknown neck. And he moves into the longer ones, but he let go of one of them and say, and piano. And one of the piano making some noise and shake his head, and the timing clock, and he had no idea. He has it unawakened, and but he tries to give his key, and he put it in his tentacles into the by the drawing key to get his key he mentioned from necessary to the free to go, just as politely. And the demon will stop, but he goes back to his father, and he takes to his presence of his tiny look like the knife, and he learns about it his long time ago about the seven seas, and it is not his faith. He brings the faith of Christ and his about the promises with his father. His sons was believing him to keep in his promise. What is about his learn about the time, and but sometimes he must thinking about his order wasn't aligned. He knows to help him. What is the good of him with his reunion? He chuckles him. What to get them through it for him, and will promise him his father. I take it from a promise. I have to go back to the seventh scene, the killing this Jones, and not to the fiend that colored his heart. I will be in abandoning you. Promise. And he says goodbye. He gets out for the Dutchman, and then for this is good night. And today is sunny day and the seven seas. The Pearl was arriving for the seven seas, moving towards and the name of them, the searching for the island. And Norrington's washing those in the floors in the ships. And Jack, Elizabeth, and Gibbs, and we're taking about the papers for the paper stuff in the map. That's his back spot of them. This is from the East India Trade Company. They've been arrived from the Port Royal. Of course, he knows in a notoriously they have a former friend, the pirates. But she knows to talk about his chest. The company was controlling the chest of seas, as it knows about a bad position of most of the half of the fear pirates. They're just going back to these areas. Brace for yard! Gibbs and this about all the crew. And persuaded for him temporarily for Jack, and he was very crushing him just sometimes. And side by side. But it doesn't matter when half of the same thing about the things. Thinking about the last 3 years, been to deserve that. One who goes, but he going and there about the conclusion. But the considerations about the for one of the classical for the Disney second movie, and Elizabeth was confused about the situations, and wasn't there he was talking about wasn't concerned factor about mentioned about met him before, but back in before he went against the East Indian Trading Company. He won't meet him for the services. He didn't welcome him about the repeal. After that, most of that the 3 endeavors in there, and those are the 3 ancient ships. They have a warships in there. Is it Jack? Can I have the back? No, but he says no, and he poorly was the temporarily. That's what he says. Persuade her, and but he says it 2 times, and he was good. He was confirming it. He clears throat. Norris mentioned his reunion of Miss Swan, but she can't deserve him most of any of him, and didn't. But he didn't know about coexist. But he never know about the late for the Flying Dutchman, but his first place, but he walks and walking around the ships, and she looks at his compass, and Jack searching for the island. They can't see it, and they're still in the ocean. Arriving for the Indian trader from the Dutchman around all the way to the 200 miles in the 7 seas, and the wedding. They're still swimming up to the man overboard, but he went inside for the captain's cabin, and he literally just current enemies for the current ships. But Will looks over her dress. Where did she get that? Well, Captain Bellamy's in his office and didn't buy that his dress. The crew made it from the port while was it a good thinking. And she went from a ship from Tortuga, and she saw them about last one day, and they are having souls any days. They have the most issues and nothing about someone else to do. He always imagined he wouldn't have been drawn ship there. He didn't ask him, and the man's run down there and says, "Captain, the ship is spotted. Carlos, she is finally." And see turtles in the ships, pirates or us. David Jones looks there for the drawing key, was his former, but he stoles it. But someone stole the key. The booster tricks him by his son's William Turner, but he almost chokes him with the lobster's arm. The one of them, he says, "You will watch him." And David Jones' ships order his pet, the Kraken. Awakened at the Kraken was spinning around, making the booming those hearing like in the most sea monster going to attack to those ships, and but he said no, and he sort of was in the confessions. He was Dumasol, and that's the Flying Dutchman. He mentions that for the first time from yesterday. He is hitting the reef under the water, and there are some of the under there for the called blue. They can't see it, like the bubbles, like a wave. And Bellamy was eaten by a tentacle with the Kraken. But he wasn't there. But he's gone and dead. He eaten a lot, but he says, Panic and run! Kraken! Ding 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 ding. Bell ring just alarming. Ready for the spears. Ready for the weapons and spears. Swords and pistols. Musket tool. A musket with the rifle. Boom boom. And they're ready to under attack. Kraken attack! Kraken attack! And Captain Bellamy's officers say, take it, take it, take it. He says 3 times. They says 3 times of it. But he runs. But he chases He was squeezing at them. He was starting to attack him. One of the reasons. He wanted the company called Davy Johnson's Pet. The beastie is attacking for the Indian trader, and the one who had the cracking into the woods and sails, they almost fall over the part, and he jumps the white sails, and he's ripping the part, but he hangs with the net, but he climbs over with the wood net, and the holder. And he follows to attack, starts to fight him to back off. He stabs the tentacle. He stabs his suckers with a sword, and could be to continue. But he pokes without the spear, and there is someone said underwater say, giant original tentacle like the squid. Just like the octopus, the colossal and giant and jumbo and giant Pacific octopus, the cuttlefish, just like the formula leviathan and sperm whale and megalodon, and just as a myth and the myth of the sea monsters, the legend of the kraken. They have 2 giant tentacles started to break in half of them for the ships, like in cutting stuff for one of the half. And he break in the explosive, and he almost getting sank under the depths. And all of the crew must be in by the beastie. A lot of 8 tentacles, and those who had about about interactions. That's just long ones about very against us. But he last one is the cracking in the sails. But Will Turner jumps into the under the water, looks under there to the deep. There's the cuttlefish. There's the cuttlefish. Looks like the whale and mermaid, like the squid does. But he goes up the air from the water. And the trader, but the ship was sank, but he goes back under there to the ship when the Dutchman is, but he says for the Macus, the boy's not here. He must climb on the sea. I am the sea. David Jones says in the confirmation of intentions, and he taught us how to bootstrap build with his father. You need time. What? Brig. Get at the survivors. He says there are no survivors. But he killed him. But he killed them with his head. Will looks them behind. He hides to seek for the Dutchman with the Jones. But he walks forward under there. But it looks someone else to be ghostly. And colonial order by Davy Jones. The ships, of course, are lost at sea. They're going for the Isla Cruces. The one of the size about the scene about the chest. That's where it is. And but he course it had been was to confirm. He was interaction. To course, it must be a good deal. David Jones says, Jack Sparrow. The ship was searching for the seas. They're going to the Isla Cruces to find the chest. Elizabeth's dress under the water is gone. So today, Elizabeth was worried about Will Turner. When Jack was confusion, they tried to persuade him. He wasn't a personal hygiene to say trifles. He wouldn't have had good idea. He would have brought the drink there. He tries in a drinking potion like the juice, like a wine, like a beer. He notices it's nice at a good deal, and sort of been like it about definitely about a almost kiss for Jack, and his hand was back from the black spot, but he covers it by himself. But he tries to take cover there with his hand. He had no idea. He puts a handkerchief on. There's a black spot there, and the Gibbs says, "Land ho!" Jack, Elizabeth, and Norrington Patel Wiggett was rowing boat for the Isla Cruces. The two of them guys that says Kraken as a Kraken, as it says Kraken, as a leaf ended looks at the talking about the myth and the legend of sea monsters. He deserves when it comes. We have a good deal with. We have no idea what he's saying, what he's talking about. It says, but he's calls about Kraken. But he does matter. But he, by the time and now. But the two of them wants to stay the boat. That it says, got a boat, got a tie, don't touch his dirt. Jack says, for the Patel we're getting, he didn't touch his dirt. That's a good deal. But he walks into the beach. But he walks out for the water with the white sand beach. But it looks around the compass. But it's true. To be continued right now. So don't forget to subscribe to more contests to our overview referencers to our Pirates of the Caribbean films and www.com.org. So subscribe about the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, find situation like gaming challenge, Juggy Stones, Tom Cocker Story, Cocker Talk, and Hangouts and Play Stores. So I love you guys in the death, and don't forget subscribe with your friends. Subscribe with your friends tomorrow. As the last day as a Demon's Chess on tomorrow, Friday. So I love you guys to the death. So don't forget, keep it rich, mateys. I will see you guys in tomorrow.